Welcome back to Back Then with Ben. Today we step into the mud-filled trenches of World War I, a world far from glamour, where soldiers ate whatever they could get their hands on just to survive. In this video, you'll see 25 actual meals that soldiers in the Great War relied on, sometimes under bombardment, sometimes just hoping food would arrive. These weren't restaurant meals, they were survival rations. But hidden in them are lessons about resourcefulness, nutrition under scarcity, and how the human body endures in extreme hardship. Stick with me through all 25. The final ones might shock you with how creative or desperate they got. Let's march into history, one plate at a time. 1 bully beef canned corned beef. During WW1, one of the staples was bully beef, canned corned beef, sliced or chopped. The soldiers called it bully beef or bully. This taught them how to use preserved meat that lasts. And it shows how modern emergency rations military MREs rely on similar preservation methods, often eaten straight from the tin or warmed over coals. It provided protein and fat in a compact format. It wasn't appetizing, but it saved lives. 2 hardtack biscuits / army biscuits. Hardtack was the bread of war, a very hard, dry biscuit made of flour, water, and sometimes salt. Understanding how to make ultra-durable staples can inspire survival baking or prepper foods today. Soldiers would dunk them in coffee, soup, or water to soften. When fresh bread was impossible, hardtack lasted months. 3 trench pudding / tea pudding. When possible, soldiers mixed leftover hardtack or flour with water, some fat, sugar, or jam, making a rough pudding. Shows how combining small rations creatively can yield caloric meals even under scarcity. It gave some comfort and calories when nothing fresh was available. 4 oatmeal / porridge. Oatmeal was simple, filling, and could be cooked in low heat. It demonstrates the value of whole grains and slow energy release, something relevant in modern fitness and endurance diets. Often eaten at dawn before long shifts, it gave fiber and warmth in cold trenches. 5 vegetable soup, root veg plus whatever available. Whenever vegetable donations came, soldiers boiled up what they had, carrots, turnips, leeks, into soup. Shows how even minimal plant matter can boost nutrition when otherwise meat and carbs dominate. The soup helped with hydration, digestion, and morale. 6 stew with bacon or fat pieces. Pieces of fat or bacon, even scraps, were thrown into stew to enrich plain vegetables or legumes. Teaches the importance of fats to maintain energy density under calorie restriction. That extra fat made a big difference in high activity conditions. 7-piece soup / split pea stew. Peas, especially dried split peas, were common because they stored well and were protein rich. Illustrates the power of legumes as a cost-effective protein source. Still relevant in modern plant-based diets. Boiled slow, sometimes with bits of meat or fat. It fed many troops. 8 tri-pie, or offal pies. Offal, organ meats like liver, kidney, heart, often got baked into pies or added to stews. Offers lessons in nose-to-tail eating and maximizing nutrition from all parts of an animal. Though less appetizing, it provided iron, B vitamins, and was considered utilitarian food. 9 bacon and beans. When bacon rations came, troops combined them with beans if available to stretch flavor. This mix of fat plus fiber plus protein remains a strong meal formula today. Beans plus meat. It made beans more palatable and filling. 10 sandwiches on hard bread and meat scraps. Slices of bully beef or meat scraps placed between hard bread or soaked biscuits made an impromptu sandwich. Demonstrates modular meal building. How combining basics into layers yields more satisfying food. These sandwiches were easy to eat while on the move or between shifts. 11 Marmite / yeast paste spread. In the British and Commonwealth troops, Marmite or yeast paste was used as a spread on bread, providing flavor and B vitamins. Highlights the use of small flavor enhancers that also contribute micronutrients. It made dry bread tolerable and gave some nutritional value. 12 rice and pea mix. When munitions supply ships also carried rice, soldiers mixed rice with peas or lentils to create a carb plus protein combo. Demonstrates how combining carbohydrate plus legume improves protein quality in resource-limited diets. It also gave variety to monotonous meals. 13. Salted fish/fish paste. Coastal units or supply lines sometimes delivered salted herring or fish paste anchovy at sea. Shows how preserving fish adds essential omega-3 fats even in wartime conditions. Used sparingly, it added flavor and essential oils to otherwise bland meals. 14. Tea and sugar/tea broth. Tea was ubiquitous. Sometimes soldiers drank strong tea or diluted it to extract nutrients and dull hunger. Reminds us of the psychological comfort and mild stimulative effect of caffeinated beverages in stress. Tea breaks pause the monotony. 15. Pemmican/dried meat cakes. Some soldiers carried dried, compacted meat plus fat plus bilberries if available, known as pemmican-style cakes. Offers inspiration for modern survival bars or high-calorie trail food using minimal moisture. These were nutrient-dense, high-calorie emergency rations. 16. Rice pudding. Leftover rice plus milk plus sugar. When fresh milk or condensed milk came, leftover rice was turned into a sweet pudding. Shows the timeless trick, turning leftovers into dessert to boost morale and calories. Sweetness lifted spirits even among misery. 17. Hard cheese. In some rations, hard cheeses that could endure rough conditions were included, for example cheese wheel bits. Illustrates how stable dairy products can add fat, calcium, and protein in a packable form. Cheese was precious, eaten slowly. 18. Barley or rice gruel. Gruel, thin porridge made from barley or rice, was used when food was scarce. Teaches minimalism in food. Even watery porridges keep you alive and hydrated. It was gentle on the stomach and safe for sick soldiers. A 19. Root vegetable. Mashed potatoes, turnips. When available, root vegetables were mashed and combined with fat or broth for added flavor. Shows how fundamental vegetables and minimal additives can still form a respectable meal. Simple mash was filling, warming, and digestible. 20. Sugar and biscuits. Tea time treat. If supply ships were lucky, troops got biscuits with sugar rations. Reminds us of the moral value of small treats in high-stress environments. Even a small sweet provided psychological relief. 21. Lentil stew/lentil and meat. Lentils were sometimes added to leftover stews to bulk them up. Again, underscores the resilience of legumes under pressure. Cheap, nutritious, and flexible. It made stews stretch further. 22. Jam and hard bread. When jam did arrive from home supply or else, soldiers spread it on hard bread or biscuit. Shows how any flavor boost, sweet or tart, makes plain staples more palatable and satisfying. Jam was treasured and rationed carefully. 23. Wheat flour porridge. Plain wheat flour porridge was cooked thin, sometimes just flour and water, used as filler. A reminder that even just flour plus water can be survival fuel when nothing else is available. It provided some calories, though low in nutrition. 24. Vegetable pickles/pickled vegetables. Pickled cucumbers, cabbage, or carrots came in preserved form. Demonstrates how fermentation or pickling preserves nutrients and adds digestive benefit even in war zones. Pickles added flavor, vitamin C, and variety. 25. Rum or spirit soup/alcohol-infused broth. As a last resort, sometimes rum or diluted spirits were added to broths or soups, partly for warmth, partly for morale. Illustrates how humankind uses not just food but stimulants in crisis. Cautionary lesson for moderation. It warmed the body, albeit temporarily, and lifted morale in dire moments. And that, my friends, is your 25 survival meals from the trenches of World War I. From bully beef to spirit-laced broths, each dish tells a story of resourcefulness, endurance, and human creativity in the face of starvation. Think of the lessons we can carry today: how to stretch a meal, how to survive scarcity, and how moral depends not just on flavor but hope. Which of these meals would you dare to try? And which one would you run from? Drop your answer in the comments. If this trip into history stirred your imagination, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves hidden stories from the past. This has been Back Then with Ben, bringing the forgotten meals of history back to your plate.